Okay guys, welcome to the second video in my series of video that will be touching many of topics on programming in PSC and focusing mainly on the use of Siemens PSC technology on all of our videos. I'll be using Siemens because in the first video, which I'll link the link below, I explained that Siemens is one of the most used PLC systems around the world. In Europe, it's number one. In America, it's not. It may not be really number one because we have Allen Bradley, but it's still commonly used in America, especially for products that are designed and made in Europe. Sometimes those products are shipped to America using the Siemens environment. Good. Now, straight to the point, we are going to be focusing on the Siemens hardware. PLC programming in Siemens, what are the hardware? It's very simple. The first hardware when it comes to industrial automation is a PLC system, like the programmable logic controller itself, which is the CPU or the brain of the automotive system in itself, CPU. Now, in this picture, we see this first by your left here. This is the PLC. Okay, so this is the PLC. And after the PSC, we need HMI, which is the display to show what we are doing, to show our system processes. So the first thing is the PSC, and we need the HMI. So in this slide, I want to be writing what we actually need. Okay, I will say insert, no, insert test bus. So the first thing you will need is a PSC. Let's see if we can make this bigger and bigger and bigger. Good. So the first thing we need is a PLC system. You need a PLC system. Then you need, we'll just copy this. You need a display system. So HMI, which is a display system. Good. Okay. So a PLC, a display system. Then you need the input and the output card. So the IO modules. So you need the IO modules, okay? You need the IO modules that are connected to the PLC. So these modules are the modules that will take on the very input and signals towards and from the PLC. So this is the PLC, this is the panel, and these are the IO modules. This one right here, the IO modules, all right? Then you need a drive. So you need a drive for your motors because hardly you see any industrial automation without an electric motor. So you need a drive, okay? You need a drive, and a drive, those drives will be the ones to make sure the motors are running properly. They manage the motors. All right. Now after the drive, okay, I just let me try to put them in an order so we have a clear picture of what we're saying here. So the PLC, HMI display, IO modules, then we need a drive for the motors. And after that, we need like like a router. Okay, we'll just call it a hub that will connect all of the IP addresses together. Okay, a hub. Then most times router if you want to talk to the outside world. So, anyways, Ethernet. To be clear, Ethernet hub. You need an Ethernet hub. Let's see if we have that in our picture. We don't really have it here. Okay, but anyways, it's imperative. Let me see if I have something like this here. La, la, la. It's not even here. These are just simple systems. Okay, it's not here. But anyways, you need that. You need the Ethernet hub. Yeah, I think these are the basics of the PLC hardware. You can add many things, but these are the basics. Okay, you can add communication. devices, you can add control devices, you can add whatever. When we talk about Siemens, this is the first instant. These are the first hardware systems that you need. The PSC, the HMI, the IO modules, the drive, and the Internet core, or the router if you want to talk to the asset world. Okay, now let's go straight into our Siemens environment. Now, if you open up the CMS software, okay, I want to assume that you already downloaded it. There is a prior version that is free on their website. You download. It is very heavy, like you would need like 20 gigabyte to install all of the packets, sometimes even 25. But when you've done that, if you open up the software, which is the TIA portal, the totally integrated automation portal, you're going to see that it looks like this. Okay, so what do you do? What is the first thing you do? The first thing you do is that you need to add your devices because this is an empty project. There is nothing in it. We don't have anything. This is just the empty project. An empty project looks like this. You have the project name, which you can change. So here I can change the project name here. I don't know if I can change it here. No, you cannot change it here. No, you cannot. So I say it should be possible, right? F2. No, you can't. You cannot change it here. But anyways, you can change it in the directory. An empty project looks like this. Unfortunately, this one is in Italian. I think I have to change language. So empty project looks like this. There's absolutely nothing. There is no PSC system. There's no HMI. There's no drive. What do? You come to add devices. If you're using that in English, and let me see if I can change this in English. Lingua de progetto. Let me see. Italiano. So lingua di riferimento. Let me see. What is English? English USA. Good. Okay. English USA. Exactly. So what now that I've changed language, it would be better if I closed everything so that in my next opening I'm going to save it. I'll have everything in English. So let's see if that works out. Tia Porta 16. Good. Open up a project. Now there is sometimes very frequent crashes and that is the problem. This has always been the major problem of Portal version 16. You have constant crashes, especially if you are using Windows 11. Good. So Portal will crash if you're using Windows 11. It is better on Windows 10. Anyways, these are project open. These are empty project. Okay, so if we want to go inside the project itself, it's going to look like this. I don't think the language has been changed. So the language did not change. Lingua dell'interfaccia. Okay, I have to change the language here also. No, it did not change it any bit. So lingua dell'interfaccia, English. Good, 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 good. So this is where you change the language, right? Okay. All right. So in this first window, which we saw in the first video, we have existing project, blah, blah, blah. We already have a project opened. Now we want to go into hardware, add new devices. When you double click on that, the first thing you add in any system is a PLC system. So which are the controllers, right? You press your controllers. I want to choose the S715, which is the latest. Okay, I'm going to choose any of these ones. Okay, now the thing is, if you open up any of the device tab, you're going to see a series of description. It's going to tell you the memory size. Here you see the article name, which is very important in case you're going for replacement. You see the version. Okay, now in the version, you can really downgrade to whatever version you have. So, but the latest version right here that I have is 2.8. It is not said that on your software you will not have 2.9 or 2.10, whatever, I don't know. But this is my highest. This is the highest I have right now. So you can downgrade, you can choose 1.5. It's going to give you descriptions of the capacity. You can choose the latest. Now choosing the latest, it says CPU with display. Okay, so this is the display right here. Memory 4 MB code. So you have 4 MB for coding and 20 MB for your data storage. Then 1 nanosecond bit operation time, 4 stage protection, concept, technology, functions, and motion control. It has closed loop control, counting ability and measuring ability. It can trace for you. Then when you go to the runtime operations or runtime options is ochronous. Okay, isochronous mode, which is the central one. Then it says for all Profinet interfaces, transport protocol, the TCP/IP. Okay, so you can use your normal standard green cable. Secure open user communication. Then H7 communication, H7 routing, IP forwarding, web servers, okay, DNS clients, great, so that you can really you can connect to this even while you are not in the same network. You have OPC UA, you have the server DA, you have the client DA, you have the methods, companion specifications, you have the first interface as your Profinet IO controller. So this is the number one preferred interface. Then you have others like it supports ROT, IROT, whatever. So these are the descriptions. Let's just choose this one. We choose this one. Good. Now, when you choose these and you click OK, it's going to take you to a window where it shows you a summary of all your hardware. Now, it creates you the projects. You can see that we now have a PSC project. It's a tree. If you open up the trees, you see everything that has to do with the PSC. Okay, we have the device configuration, we have the on and diagnostics, we have the software unit, the program block, the technology, the PSC, the watchdog, whatever. So you have every characteristic of a PSC project when you create it. Now, this window here is called the device window. Okay, it's called the device window. And what do we have in this window? We have a an image of the type of CPU you have created. Now it shows you that we have 4 ports here. This is quite exaggerated, so I think I should have taken a simpler one. But anyways, this one has 4 ports, and if you try to zoom in, you're gonna see that yeah, these are all ports, Ethernet ports. You can really change the name of everything. Now, what is the name of my CPU? This is the name. If you double click, you can change the name here. Let's say Erasmus PLC. Okay, then you see the name. The moment you change the name of the PSC here, you will see that it also changes here. Okay, on my project tree. Good, exactly. So that is changing the name of a PSC. Now it says that you are on RAID 0, which is something like this. All right, so we'll come to that later. Now, if you click on your PSC, you just pressed properties. Okay, you left click to go to properties. Like if you left click, it opens up these menus. If you press properties, you're going to see the property bar. I want to tell you that there are very many properties. Okay, there are many properties. I think I'll do a video will talk about each of the properties and their importance. So to see the property of your PSC, you can left click, or better still, if you come down here, your right corner, you're gonna press properties and you see everything about your PSC. So general is where you see the name, the author name, the rack and the slot. Now, the rack and the slot are important properties, especially when you have to deal with the second PSC. Like if you're trying to connect many PSCs together, a second PSC cannot be on the same rack and the same slot. So you have to put the second PSC on a different slot. So that is one important thing you need to know. Now, another thing you need to know about a new project PSC added, apart from the rack and the slot, which you can get from the properties, the general properties menu, all right? And if you scroll down that general properties, it shows you the former description we had when we were creating this project. Good. Apart from that, you need to know the IP address of your device. So if you come right here, Profinet interface, general, you're going to see the name of the Profinet interface, which you can change. I can say this is Erasmus Ethernet. You can say this is Erasmus Ethernet interface. You can change your name. Name doesn't really matter. You'll see. Now this is the name. I just changed the name. Then my Ethernet addresses are very important. So if you come here and you press it, here you can discover that your IP address is this. So if you want to do routing, if you want to do external communication, this is the IP address you need. So one, you can change it. It can be anything. It can be anything. Absolutely. You can change your IP address based on the project that you have in hand. Now, you can decide to use a router which should normally end in 254, okay, IP address. You can decide to use the router. Most projects use routers because you need to be able to access many of these devices. So you can decide to use router. You can set the IP address directly at the device, so it takes it automatically. Good. Name, this is Profinet. It says we are on general Profinet device. So it's an automatic naming. And remember what we did here. The Profinet device name is the name of your PSC dot the name of your Profinet interface. My PSC name was Erasmus PSC, and my Profinet interface was Erasmus Ethernet interface. So that is the name of your Profinet. Okay, it says the converted name is this one, the same thing, and the device number is 0. Good. Now, if you come here, interface network width, you can choose this one, which is the first preference, which is, remember when we're trying to fix up this device, it says the first preference is the Ethernet IP, so you choose it, all right? So these are the basics of what you need to know about your first device hardware, which is the PSC. Then if you come down right here, you're going to see a very important stuff that has to do with I think protection. Okay, protection and security. Here you can decide if you want to grant total full access to the PSC. All right, you can decide that, or you can say complete protection. Now, if you put complete protection, in other words, if you want people to have a password before they log in into your software, which most companies do right now, you're going to create a password. And if you create a password, to hell with you if you forget your password. If you forget your password, you are in a big soup. So this password, we're going to write 12345, all right? So 12345, good. You can see that it's not showing you what you just wrote. So you cannot forget. You cannot absolutely forget. All right. But here we don't want protection. We just go back to our full access. So we are not bothered about our software protection, about the password. Good. So very important is the name of your PSC, which you can change, the name of your interface, which you can change, then your IP addresses. Then you can also choose if you're using a router system. Then your protection, you can choose to protect your stuff by password. All right, time of the day. Here you can activate time saving if you want. You can choose your time zone based on where you are because the PSC has the ability to really follow up the time as you want. Okay, then power supply, the general power supply, normally you have the connection to supply voltage, the plus. So I don't know how when you have to use no connection to supply voltage. I don't know about that. Maybe I don't know, but I've always used this one. So supply voltage, which is plus 24 volts, anyways. 24 volts, 23, yeah. But below 23, if you like 22, 21 volts, it becomes a little problem for the PSC. So it's always better from 23 to 26, you know. All right. Okay. And something else we need to know. Okay, I think that is cool for now. Startup, these are just normal things. Configuration time, blah, blah, the circle. Good. Very important. Here you can change your maximum cycle time. Like if based on what you have, if your system is a highly sped up system, like your system is a very fast system, you don't want delays, you could really reduce your maximum cycle time from 150 to like 100. If it's a super fast, you can put like 50. But if your system doesn't really needs to be really fast, you can increase it like to 500 millisecond. Okay, so this is just optimization. The minimum cycle time 1 millisecond, which is really small. But here you can play around the cycle time of your system. Okay, guys. Now this is the first hardware. Now in my device view, I can view my hardware. We also have a second view, which is a network view. Now in the network view, it will automatically connect your PSC to an existing network. Okay. So when you get other devices, you're going to connect other devices onto this network. All right, then this is the topology view. You will not really notice anything because we have not added other devices. Good. Now let's go to add other devices. We have our controller. Now it's time for the HMI. I want to go for like comfort panel, which is 19 inches. So let's go for 19 inches comfort panel. The same thing, the article number, the version you can really downgrade to version 14 or stay put for your version 16. Good, it's going to tell you that this is a 3.5-inch TFT display. Now, the TFT technology is the industrial technology that is very strong. It's not those fancy display that can break up. These are resistant. They are resistant, and sometimes they are very slow, but it's okay because you don't want to be changing displays every night, because an operator or maybe by sheer mistake blows your screen and the screen is shattered. So the TFT technology is what we use here. This is the dimension in pixel. Then it says the coloration is 16 million colors. It says a touch screen, profiles, Ethernet, blah blah blah. It shows you whatever these HMIs. You said okay. Now when you say okay, you go to open up this window for you. Now, as a new beginner, as a beginner, there's something like new beginner. As a beginner, you have to be careful. Always learn to read. It says HMI device wizard. TP1900 comfort. That is the name of your device, of your display. Now it says attention, PSC connections. Configure the PSC connection. The first point there is the PSC connection. You can see that communication driver is PSC is not active yet. You are the one to select the PSC connection you want because one HMI could be connected to to a system with so many PSC. So if you want to connect to PSC1 and you forgot and you mistakenly put your HMI to PSC2, the HMI is going to communicate with PSC2. So what do? You come to select PSC and you select the PSC we created. When you do this, it's going to automatically connect you to the network of the PSC that you have. Okay, so it's saying that the communication driver is a Simatic S7 1500. Then it's telling you that the interface is an Ethernet interface. And this is the name of your HMI, and this is what you've selected. At this point, you just have to press next. Okay. You can also press finish if you want every other screen, which is the screen layout, alarm screen, blah blah blah, the buttons, if you want them to be automatically done for you. Okay. But you press next if you want to try to configure anything that you would want. Like here, you can change the background color of your screen if you want green. It's green. The resolution, you cannot change that. Then if you want a title bar, it's going to show you the title bar and removes the navigation feed. You see? So date and time, you can take away the date and time as you to keep it there. The logo, you can take away the logo as you can keep it there. Here you can browse for your own logo and put the company logo. Next, acknowledge alarms. So you can have a different window if you want it to be alarm window or at the top or alarm at the bottom. If you want the pending alarms to be showing or if you don't want them to be showing the active alarms, all these are customizations. Then the screens here, you can add a screen 0. You can keep adding stuff like that. If you come here, you brace the screen down so you can add a screen and you rename your screen as you can rename the screen as you want. So you say junk screen. What you can create screen after you have created your project also, but these are just possibilities. Next, system. All right, you can say select all. If you select all, it creates every screen for you, like from your root screen to your system screens to your semantic PSC configuration diagnostic screen to your project information, system settings, user, blah 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 blah, whatever. Then here is a buttons. You can choose, I think, log on button, which is this one. Okay, left or right, whatever. You know your normal system buttons. If you want them to be at the bottom, if you want all of them, if you want just two of them, the left and right bottom, whatever you want, is you can do it. You can absolutely do whatever you want. So you can see the close run time is there. If you want it, if you don't want it. So here you can deactivate and activate anything. And this is the last lab. You press the finish button. So when you press the finish button, it's going to create the HMI that you've just chosen with all the properties that you selected. So you can zoom in and out by control your mouse. So this is what we created. Now we now have a tree for our HMI. We now have a tree for our HMI. Okay, we have the screen management HMI tags. So this is our project, our HMI project. Okay, good. So here we have the PSC, we have HMI. Now, if you go back to device and network, if you go back to your device view, here, nothing in my device view. Okay, in my network view, you can see that it has automatically connected my PSC to my HMI because I chose it. So they are connected. And if you go to topology will give you the chance to connect everything on your own afterwards, but PSC and HMI is automatic. Connection between PSC and HMI is automatic. So if you have drives, then you see what to do later. Good. All right. So let's keep adding our devices now that we have PSC and HMI. Now let's add a drive system. Let's add the Cinemix G120C, and it's going to be on Profibus, no Profinet, FSA. Let's choose a 0.55 kilowatt. 0.55 kilowatt drive. So it's going to create a project tree for you for your drive. Okay, now this is your drive. So we have the PLC, HMI, and we have the drive. Now you can drive your drive name. You can change your drive name to be, let's say, Moto A. Good. So you can, then your IP address. This is the IP address. Good. Never forget your interface. You have to choose what interface you're connected to. It's not going to do it for you. As usual, for your internet, you can choose to use your router or not. Okay. So this is the name. Now, Profinet names are always in small letters. So even though here I see my big letter, it is always going to be in small letters because we are saying generate Profinet device name automatically. If you uncheck that, I think you can put A and it's going to remain like that. But if it's automatic, everything is in small letters. Good. Now you have a drive, you have the IP address, you have the subnet, the interface. What is important is the Telegram configuration. You have to know what Telegram configuration you are using for your projects because you have to know your send actual values, which is on the slot. Then you have to choose your Telegram. If it's normally Siemens Telegram 354, because this is what you're going to use when you are doing configuration of the drive. The slot is very, very important. Very, very important. Okay, this is the send and this is the receive set point. Very, very important. Good. Now, these advanced settings, I don't think you really need that, but yeah, we don't need that. This has to do with connection, stuff like that. Active channel displays, scroll down. Okay, oh, for now, let's leave this for now. Your task don't anything. So good. Now we now have our devices. We have, if you go to network view, we have a PLC, we have HMI, and we have motor. Now, if you go back to what I was trying to explain, I said we needed a PLC, we needed HMI display, we needed I/O modules also. So now let's go back and put some of the I/O modules. How do you now put in? How do you choose your I/O modules? You can do it here. You can say add new devices. This is system not here. You cannot do it here. You can do it if you press. Okay, when you go to the PSC, the device view, you hardware catalog. Exactly. When you go to hardware catalog, when you go to hardware catalog, you can add DI stands for digital input. So let's add a 16 digital input that runs on 24 volts to our system. So it shows you DI 16. So the first 16 shows that you have 16 inputs, 16 digital inputs. It runs on 24 VDC power, and then it has other properties. But if you click on the properties, you're going to see everything about what you just chose, right? So it has like 3.2 millisecond delay, and the input type is 3, and it follows the 61131 standard. The firmware version is this one, and the name of the article is this that you have right here. You can change your firmware version, as we always say. You can downgrade, but unfortunately, you cannot downgrade here. You cannot downgrade here because I don't know why, but I think if you were online, you couldn't downgrade. But okay, I can't explain that for now. So with plant designation, the location, blah blah blah, these are just stuff right here. So comparison presets, CPU, all these are not needed. But what sometimes is needed is your input. So 0 to 15 bits is what you have. You can here you can really choose your input addresses. You can, if you don't want to start from 0, you can start from any number. It will automatically update your blocks for you. Yeah, these are the kind of input you want. So IO tags, if you changed the addresses from, if you don't want to start from 0, you're going to see the number you just chose. So here you can, the name, if this is a start, you can just give your tags. If it's a start motto, then you say default tag table, you leave a comment or a motto start, whatever. You can do it like this. Okay, these are the tax system, blah blah blah. Okay, all these are just normal things. So, but the main thing that you need to know about the digital input device you just chose is the input and your addresses. Okay, we just got a digital input. Now let's get a digital output here. Let's get a 16 digital output. If you still go to properties, you still see similar things. So just like that, your output, whatever. Cool. So we've gotten this one. Now next, let's go for, I want us to go for communication modules. Let's go for, let's add a communication module. Let's see, we go for PC. If you go for PC, um, let's say a monitoring PC system. If we want to add open controller, let's see what this is. Okay, let's say we want to add a PC monitoring control system to our project. So it's taking a while to generate. Okay, this is our monitoring system, whatever it's used for, whatever it's used for. Here you can connect to, okay, this is where we need a hub. So we need a router afterwards. Good. Now let's add our network components here. To add our switches. So let's get a switch, scalans. Let's see how this one looks. Yeah, we need at least 8 ports. So let's get a, Mhm. So if you don't really know, what is this? If you don't know the names of the scalars you need, you can check it out on the internet. So I think let me just get this first one because I don't have time. So let's assign our network. No, we cannot assign here. So you can assign the topology. I think so. Not assign the device view. No, no. Okay. To assign it to our network, we'll go to properties. No, it's not possible. Uh, Okay, let's go to his own device view and go to properties, switch name, okay, Profinet, network. Here we choose network, we assign it to our network. Good, just done that. If you come back to network, it shows that, why? It says not assigned. Mhm. Properties, we need to assign everything to our network. If you don't assign it, you're going nowhere. Profinet, okay, subnet is assigned, good. I think uh we need to compare our hardware because topology. Mm-hmm. Yes, Okay. What do we have next? Assign to new IO controller. Uh, my Profinet. Okay, it has been assigned. Exactly. So I've assigned it to my network now. So everything is connected. And if you go to your topology view, you see that everything seems to be cool. But. Yeah, I think everything is on the network now. So this is how far we can go for PSC hardware. This is how you put add some hardware, you remove some hardware, and when you have all of these, you can start your programming. Okay, guys, I'll see you in the next video. Thank you.